Good morning. It's January 24th. This is To My Liberal Friends, and I'm John Haddo. Well, the IRS came out with some new rules this last couple of days, and one of them they came out with is that if you have a little side gig where you're selling t-shirts on Etsy or renting out your house to Airbnb and making a little extra cash, they're going to require PayPal and other these peer-to-peer agencies to report that cash. Now, of course, that's got people all upset. I mean, why is the IRS coming after my little bit of money? Now, I find it ironic that the lower income and middle class love to say, hey, let's tax the wealthy because they're cheating us somehow. They're not paying their fair share. But when the IRS comes up with a rule that says, okay, now you're going to have to pay the money you owe because it is in the law. This is not a change in law, just a change in how you report it. Well, that upsets them because now we're getting in their pocket. And it's always good when I remember Russell Long came on the floor of the Senate one time and he got up he says, I have constituents come to see me and they say, don't tax him, don't tax me, tax that man behind the tree. In other words, tax everybody but me. And this is the problem. So under the old requirement, you had to exceed $20,000 in transactions and have 200 transactions before these peer-to-peer had to pay, submit a 1099 to you. But now they've set that down to where if it's $600 or more, regardless of how many transactions, you're going to have to get a 1099 and have the income reported. Now this will confuse a lot of people because when you get a 1099 and you're operating a side business, one of the things you're able to do is file what they call Schedule C, where you add up all your income and then list all your deductions to get a net income. But I would venture to say that the vast majority of people having these little side gigs are not going to know how to do that, and they're going to have to learn. But I find it's a little ironic because years and years ago, I was the board secretary for a high school basketball association. And in our association, we signed contracts with all the high schools in Northern Virginia and the rec associations, and we assigned the officials. We collected the money at the end of the year on the contract, and then we looked how many games you'd done at what rate for each game, and we sent you a check. At the end of the year, we also sent you a 1099. Now, we'd have new officials come in from other states, and they weren't used to this. And they would get their 1099, they would immediately give me a call. And they'd say, what is this document? Does that mean I have to pay taxes on that money? I say, no, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means the government is aware you have the money. You decide whether you want to pay taxes on it or not. But I advise you to learn how to do a Schedule C and report that income. And we would work with officials to make sure that they reported as much of that income as they had to, using the deductions, their travel expenses to reduce their net profit. But I find it's just amusing to me that here we are in a situation where everybody likes to say, like Bernie Sanders, let's tax the wealthy. But then when you get into people who are cheating the government, and that's what they are, they're cheating the government out of their money, then, well, why are they taxing me? I don't want to pay that tax. Now, let's be honest. People will find ways around this because they've been doing it for years. In cash-heavy businesses, everybody is aware in the tax business that it's underreported. People put a little aside in their pocket. So now, if you got a little side gig, you're doing some landscaping for somebody and they want to pay you with PayPal, you're going to say, nah, I prefer cash because it's hard to track cash and people aren't going to report cash. It's an interesting dilemma. I find it amusing that all of a sudden now they're going after people who don't pay a lot of taxes, in some cases don't pay any taxes, but there they are. And the real irony of this is many people have side gigs and yet they were claiming stimulus checks and unemployment and things because they don't report that income, and now they're going to get in their pocket. And once again, as long as you're taxing somebody else, taxing that man behind the tree, just don't tax me, everybody's okay with that. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.